Hello and welcome to Planet Pulse on Firstpost. The Earth is constantly changing, and in recent years for the worse. Summers are getting hotter and winters harsher. Rising sea levels, floods, drought, wildfires, and torrential rain have been disrupting lives across continents. The fight against climate change is needed now more than ever. On this show, we bring you all the top stories on the climate crisis, its causes, its brutal effects, and the warriors helping to fight the menace. Climate change is a hoax. We are not saying this, Donald Trump says so. And now he is back in the White House, so it is not surprising that this is his first plan of action: to pull the US out of the Paris Agreement. This is the world's most important climate change treaty. But Trump wants out, and the world is bracing for impact. Meanwhile, other monumental changes are hovering over the planet, from cash talks to clean energy and COP30 to courtroom battles. Our next report brings you the top 5 climate moments to expect in 2025.
We are well into 2025. It's arguably a good time to take the pulse of our planet, because this year is all set to be a big one for climate change. So here are the top 5 climate moments to look forward to. Donald Trump is back in office. As the world braces for his second presidency, the US president is already making waves. And when it comes to climate change, not in a good way. Trump has signed actions on his first day back to pull the US out of the Paris Agreement. This is an international climate change treaty. It was signed in 2015. Nearly 200 countries agreed to work together to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, but preferably to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Last year, our planet crossed this consequential threshold, so the stakes couldn't be higher. And with Trump backtracking on the Paris Accord, this is a major setback for the world. However, there's growing momentum for climate action. There is booming investment for clean energy in the US and elsewhere across major economies. So 2025 may witness other nations filling the gap left by Trump's disengagement. This brings us to another key event to look forward to: the new national climate goals. Under the Paris Agreement, countries have to submit new climate action plans. These are known as Nationally Determined Contributions, or NDCs. Think of them as climate plans where governments outline how they want to decarbonize their economies and discuss how they intend to protect their countries from the impact of a warming world. These plans are updated every 5 years. Now the NDCs are up for renewal. Nations must submit their new plans by February. Countries like the US, the UK and Brazil have already updated their NDCs, but other major emitters like India and China are yet to do so. As per the guidelines, the world requires carbon emissions to fall by 43% by 2030 if we are to maintain the 1.5-degree limit. The previous NDCs in 2020 only reduced emissions by up to 10%. So this new round of NDCs can be a game changer for climate ambitions and progress, and climate action intently awaits the plans trickling in next month. Another key month for climate change will arrive as the year draws to a close. It will witness the biggest climate event of the year, the annual UN Climate Conference, COP30. It will be held in Brazil in the month of November. This is an important meeting of nations, but this year will be particularly crucial because COP30 marks 10 years since the Paris Agreement. Though critics blame the COP for minimal pull and much less progress, the hopefuls are expecting big changes. A key discussion point will be cash, like investments in clean energy. For renewables, nuclear and energy storage, which hit $2 billion in 2024, it's a major win, because it came as investment in fossil fuels stood at about $1 billion. This is a big jump from the figures in 2015, when investment in clean energy touched $1.1 billion, while that in fossils stood at $1.4 billion. Money talks will also discuss the cash set aside for poorer nations that are bearing the brunt of climate change. At COP29 last year, countries agreed on a $300 billion climate financing goal per year by 2035. Experts claim that this year's COP may bolster this collective target with pledges across nations. Over the past few years, climate lawsuits have exploded all over the world. Cases against fossil fuel giants are piling up. Activists are pushing for criminal charges against climate culprits, and children are suing entire governments. As climate litigation takes the world by storm, courtrooms have become a battleground for the fight against a warming world. And this year, they're expected to witness a range of landmark lawsuits. While some climate action is coming from courtrooms, some of it is being fueled outside our planet with the help of satellites. In recent years, a number of satellites have been launched for data collection of carbon and methane emissions, to track changing routes of marine wildlife migration, and to reduce deforestation across nations. This year, many more satellite launches are planned, like Microcarb, the first European satellite to measure atmospheric CO2 emissions. So expect more data coming your way from outer space. But whether from space or from Earth itself, this is going to be a year-long fight. 2024 witnessed extreme heat waves, deadly floods, and severe drought. It was the hottest year on record. 2025 is not expected to break that record. But nonetheless, it is projected to be a scorcher. The trailer is in front of our eyes with the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. Today, 10 years after the Paris Accord, humanity stands at an interesting juncture. And how we brave climate in 2025 could change how our future looks.
TikTok, the widely popular video sharing app that is already in trouble in the US, has more reasons to worry. The app may have a larger carbon footprint than that of a country. A new analysis reveals that the platform's addictive nature is leading to a surprisingly high environmental impact. As TikTok's user base continues to expand, so do the emissions associated with the platform's users. Our next report brings you the details.
In this age of digital media, more and more people are turning to social media platforms for instant gratification. Today, users aren't just passively consuming content, but they're also rapidly producing it. One such platform is TikTok. This video sharing app is all the rage among youngsters across the world. However, its environmental impact is alarming. As per a new study, TikTok's carbon footprint is probably larger than that of Greece. Greenly, a carbon accounting firm based in Paris, estimates that TikTok's 2023 emissions in the US, UK and France are about 7.6 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. That's more than the emissions associated with X and Snapchat combined in the same region. The US, UK and France make up barely 15% of TikTok's global user base. This could mean that TikTok's overall carbon footprint is over 50 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Moreover, these estimates don't include smaller sources of TikTok's emissions. So these already alarming figures are most likely an underestimation. TikTok has 1 billion users worldwide. Yet its carbon footprint is just above Instagram, which has nearly double the user base of TikTok. These statistics are certainly shocking. But what's driving this massive carbon footprint? Experts point to TikTok's addictive nature. An average user spends 45.5 minutes daily scrolling on the app. This is significantly more than other platforms. TikTok's addictive nature has led to the users generating more and more carbon footprint on a daily basis. The average Instagram user spends 30.6 minutes on the app a day. Meanwhile, the average TikTok user spends 45.5 minutes scrolling. In fact, the study found that the average TikTok user generates greenhouse gases equivalent to driving an extra 123 miles in a gasoline-powered car each year. Not just this, findings also suggest that TikTok's users have the second highest emissions per minute of use on social media, just after YouTube. 1 minute on TikTok will burn 2.921 grams of carbon dioxide equivalent on average, while 1 minute on YouTube will burn 2.923 grams of carbon dioxide equivalent, and 1 minute on Instagram burns 2.912 grams of carbon dioxide equivalent. TikTok users have the highest yearly emissions, and the credit goes to the sheer amount of content available on the platform and longer average scroll times. The average TikTok user will burn 48.49 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent on the app in a single year. In second place comes YouTube, with an average user burning 40.17 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent, while the Instagram users will burn just 32.52 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent. While TikTok has pledged to become carbon neutral by 2030, concerns remain about its transparency. Unlike tech giants like Google and Meta, who release detailed reports regarding their carbon footprint, TikTok has not publicly disclosed its emissions data. Moreover, TikTok's pledge to become carbon neutral seems like a great plan with no real-time implementation. Only one renewable data center has been built to date. The company's future also remains uncertain. A US court has ordered TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell the platform to an American entity by the 19th of January 2025. This raises questions about the future of TikTok's environmental commitments and whether a new owner will prioritize transparency and sustainability. This study serves as a stark reminder of the environmental cost of our digital habits. It underscores the urgent need for greater transparency and accountability from social media platforms. So the next time you're doom scrolling on these social media apps, just take a pause and think about how your actions are sabotaging the planet.
The year 2024 will be remembered as a turning point in the climate crisis, a year when the Earth's fever reached new heights, breaching the critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold for the first time. Supercharged by human-driven emissions and natural phenomena like El Niño, the record-breaking temperatures unleashed devastating weather events across the globe. From scorching heat waves to relentless floods and hurricanes, millions face the harsh realities of a planet pushed to its limits. And here's our report on it.
In 2024, the planet decided to throw a global heatwave party, except nobody was invited. The average temperature shot up to a sizzling 1.6 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, officially smashing the 1.5 degrees Celsius no-go zone for the first time. According to the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service, we now experience a climate crisis so dramatic, it's practically auditioning for a disaster movie. Extreme weather? Check. Global devastation? You bet. The numbers don't lie. 2024 was a scorcher, 0.1 degrees Celsius hotter than 2023, which, by the way, was also a record breaker. And no, this isn't some exaggerated summer heat. These are heat levels never seen before by humanity. On July 22, 2024, the Earth hit its hottest day ever. Meanwhile, on July 10th, a whopping 44% of the planet was sweating buckets from extreme heat stress. Experts at Copernicus are sounding the alarm, and it's loud. There's a pretty good chance we'll smash through the 1.5 degrees Celsius Paris Agreement target. With high temperatures and record water vapor levels, 2024 became the year of unprecedented heat waves and downpours, and it's been pure misery for millions. From Valencia's floods to hurricanes in the United States, typhoons in the Philippines and droughts in the Amazon, the climate crisis didn't just knock on the door, it kicked it down and said, "I'm here to stay." Experts agree. 2024 was a sharp reminder that a 1.5 degrees Celsius world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Heat waves took center stage, leaving people exposed to 6 additional weeks of dangerously hot days. And with sea surface temperatures also setting records, we had no shortage of violent storms and droughts, fueling chaos worldwide. The culprit behind all of this, surprise, surprise, fossil fuel emissions. Despite all those nice promises about moving away from coal, oil and gas, we managed to set a new emission record in 2024. At this rate, we're heading for a 2.7 degrees Celsius rise by century's end, unless, of course, we do something drastic. February's UN deadline for countries to submit their new emissions pledges might give us some hope. But let's be real, the chance of sticking to 1.5 degrees Celsius is starting to look like a long shot. To even have a shot at hitting that target, emissions need to fall by 45% by 2030. Some scientists are suspecting other hidden factors. Less pollution from shipping and fewer sunlight-reflecting clouds might have cranked up the heat even more, while some are blaming it on the El Niño weather phenomenon. What we do know is that every fraction of a degree matters, whether it's 1.4, 1.5 or 1.6 degrees Celsius. And the cost of doing nothing, well, that's much worse than investing in renewable energy right now. 2024 wasn't just a wake-up call, it was more like the earth yelling, "Get up." We've been ignoring this for far too long. But now the stakes are higher than ever for people, ecosystems and our future. The way forward? Simple. Reduce emissions, invest in clean energy, and brace for a hotter, more chaotic world. The real question now is, will we act or will we keep hitting snooze until it's too late?
That's it on Planet Pulse for today. We will see you again next week. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.